I have a Noritz tankless water heater model N-069M-1. It turns off after running approximately 90 seconds. An error code 90 is displayed. The inlet gas pressure was checked by the gas company, the water pressure is in the specified range, and I have cleaned the cold water inlet filter. Yesterday I disassembled the vent assembly and cleaned it. The heater ran continuously for 20 minutes but is now shutting off every 90 seconds again. I'd have a tech look at it, but I'm in the country 100 miles from a major city. Any suggestions?
Welcome. As we go along, just keep pressing the continue button, and no negative buttons, until we succeed in resolving the problems. Tell me please if the remote control option is installed or not, and if you have cleaned the flame sensor or not. Click here to see the manual. We can go from there. Phil 41275.7405290741.
The remote control option is installed. No, I have not cleaned the flame sensor.
Hello again. See page 56, wiring diagram. Notice the fan wiring. It is an electronically driven and modulated fan motor. With very complex multifaceted controls in the motor itself, in the main control card and its sensors, etc. Rocket science, in other words. The fact that the fan ran earlier, but is now intermittent, points directly to those components. 95 out of 100 trained field technicians would have difficulty diagnosing the correctly. Most will resort to changing parts until it works. That can get expensive fast. And only works until the next time it breaks. I realize this is bad news, but it would be unfair of me not to let you know what the score is. In your situation, I would be inclined to buy the cheapest, simplest tank-type water heater I could find to replace the noritz unit. That would be especially true if the noritz unit were over 5 years old. That's my best advice after 51 years in the business and understanding the service issues with those units. And rural situations. Let me know if you appreciate that advice and / or wish to discuss the matter further. We can go from there. Phil.
The good news is that I am a rocket scientist and just retired. I don't understand why you think there is a problem with the fan. I can hear it running and being modulated by the controller. Did you decide that the flame sensor was not an issue?
Hello again. My mistake, I was reading too quickly and mistook your word ran for fan. I apologize. In that case, a dirty flame sensor is the most common cause of that sort of failure. Maybe 70% common. But it is a very complex system and can be many other things, of course. The flame sensor rods acts by leaking 24 volts AC to ground through the flame. That can fail if the flame sensor is dirty, or carbon builds up at the ceramic base and shorts rod to ground. Only the positive side of the sine wave leaks to ground through the flame. It acts as a rectifier of sorts. The control card senses this as proof of a flame. You can clean the flame sensing rod off with steel wool or a Scotch-Brite pot scrubber pad. If that fails, we need to verify the ground is good. Another potential cause is too high gas pressure blowing the flame off of the burner heads. Not common, but I must mention it. Let's see how cleaning the flame sensor rod works. I met a high school classmate 2 years ago, who had just retired. A rocket scientist. Did a lot of work for the Boomer sub-missile program, quite a tall fellow he is. I was never that well educated but did design build the MX missile test stand cooling system about 25 years ago for Aerojet, Phil.
Phil, I cleaned the flame sensor as you suggested. I ran the water for a while, my wife took a bath, and I got halfway through my shower before it shut off. Total runtime was 45 minutes. When it shut off, the error code 90 was displayed. I reset it and it has now been running for 8 minutes continuously. Any additional suggestions? Sounds like you were up in Sacramento. I worked for Aerojet in Azusa until they were bought by Northrop Grumman. I retired from there. A lot of Aerojetters around. My father-in-law, mother-in-law, and wife all worked there. Joe.
Hello again, Joe. If cleaning the flame sensor rot-off helped, we are likely on the right track. Try bending the flame sensor into the flame a bit more if it appears to be on the fringes of the flame currently. If that fails, we need to run a separate ground wire from the greenhouse ground at the water heater directly to the bracket that holds the burners in place. I was in LA at the time, I shipped the thing to Sacramento. I think my rocket scientist buddy recommended me for the job, but he won't talk. That's a very interesting business you guys were in. My friend took some of the lessons he learned in a pool hall to one of his designs. Firing one 10-ton steel door into another one, sticking the second door in place to block the debris field from an underground test away from the initial blast sensors. Closed door in less than 1/100th of a second. I will post this as an answer so you can rate my work when the time comes. Phil.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit justanswer.com/YTHI.